Hello, everybody, and welcome to Steakdorra the Explorers review REL 1 and 2A. This is week 2 of season 15. So now games have actually been played. We can start with our more regular recaps where we watch a game, and then we see what happened in all the other matches, predict next week, and then move on from there.
Next week we'll be playing, or we'll be doing this on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays, and we'll be Wednesdays from there on out, barring, weirdness, so...
Ideally, yeah. My Wednesdays are free for just that reason. So
mine are now free. Someone had that thing that made us move our game night for a couple of weeks, and it just so happened to coincide with the start of the season. So,
yeah, I've got theoretically my D&D group in an hour and a half or so, but they know I'm going to be late, so it's okay. So we sort of arbitrarily picked a game, mostly because we're not super far into the season, so there's nothing that's playoff relevant yet. We didn't have many super contentious picks. It looked like an interesting one, and we said we were probably going to watch it if no one told us anything last week, and no one told us anything. So this is what you get. If you disagree, this is your fault, and you need to tell us that you think we should watch something else in between recaps. Fair?
Fair. We decide what's fair.
No, it's my show. I do what I want.
It's our show, Ben.
No.
Communist.
This is a dictatorship.
There's an outside chance I get a dramatic work call in the middle of this, in which case I will disappear, and by disappear I mean stop talking and mute myself and go talk on a different chat program. But
okay, so let's get into things. We're going to watch Unseen Walker and Luminous because I tuned in to like the last two turns of this match when it was being played live, and it looked like it was interesting up to that point, and I wanted to see the earlier parts.
I heard lots of claims that it was spicy and challenging, so we'll never watch you pitch clear elves. Every time, the only thing when we're deciding games, the only thing we avoid is games where there are like 10 Kaz on one side.
Yeah, I actually looked at that one because it was like, oh, that's not the result we expected, really. And then I looked at the Kaz results. I'm like, never mind, I expect that. So that would probably not be entertaining.
All right. 3, 2, 1 it?
Yep. Are you in?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Ragedorf with 4 rerolls now.
Because of... No, we don't know.
Because
that might be a bug. That might be a sometimes the
thing.
replay bugs out. Like if there's a kickoff event that gives them a reroll.
You are significantly louder than you used to be, and I don't know if that's my fault or yours, but I'm going to turn you down like a little bit.
Literally nothing has changed.
I don't know. I'm going to turn you down a little bit. Maybe I have my own volume turned up, so you're the same volume to everybody else, but you're just too loud to me.
I mean, am I too loud, Scrim?
The audio levels look fine on my end, but you're just too loud in my ears, so maybe I need to turn you down a little bit. Or get less sensitive ears.
Yeah, tell your ears not to be such a bitch.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think Tristan's just gonna be ecstatic that she doesn't have to hear the frantic clacking of Hades for an hour and a half.
Click, 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 click.
Also, you have not removed the menu, so there's just a menu where my face should be.
Oh man, I'm so good at this. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's an inducer reroll, I see. So Unseen Walker induced the reroll for more greed hits.
Spicy and not what I would have done.
And satisfying.
No, not satisfying. I don't think extra rerolls as an inducement are ever satisfying.
I was quoting Lion King, you uncultured swine.
And I refuse to acknowledge it. Hit's not going great so far for the Thralls. 0 for 2.
Yeah, it just pushes.
One of the only Mighty Blow hits, or the only Mighty Blow hit, I should say, because he's only got one Mighty Blow player, and it's a Wrestle Tackle Thrall.
When did that Thrall get Mighty Blow?
Recently, given that he's 31 out of 30, 31 out of 31. Before he got it.
This is week 1 of the season, so that must have been in playoffs, and I missed after a playoff game, and I missed that because that's fun. Well, we are just setting up right away, and I think that's probably the right choice. Certainly.
The worst thing about vampires is being on defense, and
you mean offense?
Yeah, I do. I do mean offense. So a good way to get around that is 2-turning. And this team is pretty good at 2-turning. So
just score and then don't be on offense anymore.
Straight injury on the first bite. Yikes.
Crab Louie goes down. That does free up our guard leader piece to
come around and give an assist for this 3 die.
Yep.
Which is not good.
Oof, because now the leader piece isn't...
Christ. What a turn from Lumi.
Not good. I forgot he was frenzy. I was going to say that leaves the leader piece exposed to getting punched, and that's certainly a priority.
And he re-rolled the Bloodlust in the backfield too, so this is not a great turn from Lumi. He Bloodlusted on, 2 out of 5 vampires. He failed every single block dice, not in a catastrophic way, but certainly in a not getting anything done sort of way.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
opens up a Mighty Blow hit on his Strength 5 vampire, which does work. He goes down. Emmanuel Macron is down and dead.
You're very slightly ahead, so you just spoiled the dead. There's the dead.
He got better.
Also spoilers.
Still an MNG though.
So wait, he was appoed into not dead.
He appoed into MNG and then he regent.
Yes. Vampire
because
things.
They fixed the appo bug, so you don't know anymore.
It looks like it, given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bench, yeah. Right, yeah, so I was gonna say not like a disastrous turn, and then he's still in a reasonable position to accomplish what he wanted to, being a 2-turn, just not a good turn in that everything he tried didn't really work out, and he had to use more resources than he wanted to make it work.
Yeah, so Lumi has a pretty easy time scoring here. All he needs to do is Hypnogaze one of them, which he's going to do, and then blitz through, but the Hypnogaze fails, reroll... Wait, what? What's that dice sequence? Hypnogaze failed, pro...
Success,
was
failed.
Sorry, the reroll, yeah, got it.
Yeah, the reroll is pro. Oh, man.
Jesus Christ, Lumi.
Roll better.
Lumi just failed, I think, everything he attempted to do this entire game.
This turn, certainly, yeah. Well, he made the dodge.
And last turn, too. Oh, the dodge worked out.
He made the dodge, failed the Hypnogaze, passed the pro, failed the Hypnogaze again, failed the pass, passed the pro, or no, wasn't, re-rolled the pass, failed the catch, passed the pro, failed the catch again, is the sequence that just happened there.
Did he snake the catch? Yes, he snaked the catch.
And there goes the reroll.
No, he failed the pro. No, he failed the pro on the catch.
I see. Well, this is not a good start for Lumi. I mean, good thing that vamp on those 2 vamps are sidestepped, because otherwise we'd definitely be down a number of vamps after this turn. If they weren't sidestepped, we'd surf both of them here, and that would be kind of nightmarish.
And that's a Thrall down. Oh, we're surfing 1 vampire. Oh, no, we're not. So far.
Greed! This is what the reroll is for.
Ooh, failed it, though.
Never mind. Oh my god. It's just a battle of people failing at each other. It's lovely.
Well, to be fair, the dwarves are failing way less than the vampires so far. They've removed two players. They cast 3 players so far.
I mean, that is kind of the story of dwarves.
I mean, casting 3 players in 2 turns is, it ain't bad.
Yeah, I mean, failing one of them, less while failing is dwarf.
Yes,
very dwarfy.
It's hard to fail harder than vampires when vampires are failing, is I think your point, perhaps?
But dwarves are, like, excessively on the other end of that spectrum.
Yes, in terms of reliable, because they can only do, like, 1 thing. All right, 3+ catch, fails again.
Hey, we got it. It only took about 4 2+. Oh, there, we failed the Bloodlust. And then we made the pro, and then we failed the dodge. Oh my god, what is going on?
Lumi just wanted to reset the drive. Like...
Yeah. We can... no, not easily.
No,
I was gonna say
we could because of the thrall. No,
we could, just not easily. You'd have to dodge somebody into this corner, and we don't really want to do that. But I mean, the dwarves are just gonna be like, "Here you go, I'm dwarves," and try to make it as annoying as possible for the vampires. Okay, 3rd skull in a row for Seedwalker. Lumi hoping the ball scatters out here, I think. Or back into his own hands, maybe.
He pros the 6+ catch. And
yeah, why not?
It's a 5. He almost had it. Oh, it went out. This is probably good for the vampires.
Yeah, I think that's what they were hoping for there.
That's good for the vampires. I forgot he got a follow-up block there. That's really funny.
Yeah, this is.
Oh, come on!
We're on turn 4, and I don't know what to say already. So hey, is that
What
the diving tackle dwarf doing diving tackle wings?
Well, because he rolled a 1 die and got. Oh, he got away the second time. Okay, Jesus Christ.
Oh, hello, people. I mean, theoretically, I'm in search of followers because I'm at 399. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But that's not how I want to get them. So you guys are now
double red die pow though. Spicy.
Hey, man, Gruff, thank you.
This is kind of hilarious, though. Oh, do you just ban everyone? Wow, yeah, look at that.
No, there were two like spammers that were like, buy follows, please. Gruff is number 400.
Gruff has an Overwatch League 2018 All Access Pass that apparently it still shows.
That's weird.
It is weird.
All right. Okay. So we have a lot of beating up we can do a lot of beating up of vampires. The vampires still have the ball, but that's probably not terrible for the dwarves here, given that the vampires' goal was to 2-turn and it's now turn 5 for the vampires, or will be turn 5 for the vampires. So things are going pretty well for the dwarves, and we're likely to get quite a few more hits, as well as things are pretty awkward for the vampires with one vampire alone with no thralls.
He really needs a break here. He freed up this vampire effectively, so if he doesn't get a break, okay, he gets the break, so that's fine.
I just didn't know the badges stayed around forever.
I think you can choose them too. I think that's the deal. Yeah, you do have bad block dice, though. So does Lumi, to be fair. He has bad everything dice so far. Other than that red die, the double red die pow, which was hilarious.
So Lumi has no thralls nearby other than one who's going to have to dodge to do anything. So he's not exactly reliable, or he's going to have to dedicate a reroll to that vampire in the back pretty much every turn just in case he bloodlusts, and he only has one left. Hey, Ramaset.
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to get out of here now. He's got the dodge skill, and that diving tackle guy is out. So
watching vampires makes me want to play vampires in Total War again.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that the other day, so we should totally do that as our next campaign. So he's freed up a vampire, sort of, and his other vampire will be able to stand up and score next turn. So Lumi has options.
Yeah, but a 6-turn is not exactly a 2-turn. But I mean, as long as he still scores, I think that's basically what the point of the 2-turn was, is that he thought he'd be able to score the easiest that way. So as long as he still scores, I think it's still pretty good, and it's still okay for Lumi. Yeah, watching vampires in Blood Bowl 2 makes you want to play vampires somewhere else. That's true.
Yeah, as someone who's played vampires this season, watching this game has not made me want to play vampires. Yeah, against dwarves, I would agree. I think that, 3 turns for dwarves are a lot. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, 3 turns for dwarves are a lot easier than 2 turns are, certainly. But even then, they're not trivial, and certainly not trivial against vampires.
Sort of to clarify, I guess, what I meant there is that Lumi was trying to 2-turn because he thought that was his best way of scoring, and he just wanted to score this half. So if he can get the touchdown still, he'll be very happy after how that went. Like, it's not that like the 6-turn or scoring on turn 7 or 8 is worse. It's better. It's just he didn't think he'd be able to do this on purpose, which is why he went for the 2-turn.
I think he's going to aim to score next turn, given that he can't, pass the ball and blitz.
If only.
Has to go over here because he has to take a bite of a thrall, which is unfortunate, of course. Not what he wanted to be doing with Borscht Johnson. I think most Vamp coaches are, and with good reason. I think Vamp offense sucks pretty hard.
It's just really unreliable.
Oh, that works, though. Gets the 3+ and the 2+ without rerolls, so that was nice.
This Vamp is in scoring range, and this Vamp is definitely in scoring range.
Yeah, they both are pretty comfortable scoring range. They won't have thralls to come along, but that's, a luxury Lumi does not have right now, so he's going to be blitzing one of them. He's got to be careful. They're both sidesteps, so he doesn't get the knockdown here. he could find himself in an awkward position.
He's going to put diving tackle on one and then blitz the other one, I guess.
Oh, dub skulls again. Not the best block dice.
You're definitely ahead then. There's the dub skull.
I'll pause.
Getting wrestled down, which is a little bit interesting because there's not very much of a threat on the vampire over here anymore because dwarves are slow, it turns out.
It's worse for vamps, but it's easier for vamps to get off of offense than it is for dwarves. They have no option there.
It's been so long since I've played.
Does not get the knockdown. And sidestep's going to make that really interesting on the follow-up. Ooh. Well, a both down there is better than a push would have been, certainly.
Yeah, well, it doesn't make that much of a difference because he's in scoring range pretty solidly. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I guess either way, he's just a 2+. Yeah. So he's in the end zone. Well, I guess if he was only 1, you could have considered trying the 3+ catch instead of this long pass.
That's true. So now we can... Yeah, we move the thrall so we have something to bite. We're going to have to deal with a 4+ pass and intercept threat. But we didn't have to use the reroll on a bloodlust, so we can just make this pass.
And we got it.
Nice. Yeah, it's on replay, things go by a lot faster. Yeah, maybe not using jugs, so you could have kept him more tied up would have been better.
Especially he had already used the reroll, so he'd already used the reroll, so the 1 die afterwards was incredibly risky. Like if that had been a skull, it would have made things even easier.
Well, dwarves can try to...
What, like a
1 turn? No.
The dwarves have 2 turns.
Do they? Oh, my screen is
not that
weird.
2 turns are a lot more likely.
Not really. And vampires are supremely good at stopping 2 turns, frankly. It's especially against slower teams. Like a lot of the times you're just going to want to put as many scoring threats as possible, so that because your opponents can only blitz 1 target, but vampires can hypnogaze the other ones, and then you have to like dodge out and put them in the end zone before you can throw the ball to them, or else they can't catch it.
I guess that was a 2 die on any. He failed. He must have failed the second dauntless. There's just so many dice going on in a vampire game that I sometimes lose track of what is failing.
Yeah, I've given up on trying to keep track of things, and I just sort of get excited when stuff happens. Oh yeah, so kick thrall, dwarves, and vampires are going to make this 2-turn supremely impressive if it works.
Though not as bad as of a kick as it could have been.
That's true.
Unseen Walker is positioning aggressively with his super runner.
Well, he is the best scoring chance. High movement, blodge,
strength 5, getting it done.
Furious. Oh, that's insane, Dorf. Furious Dorf. Is
I like that Hellsdorf is an utterly broken stat line. I think that's the 3rd dub skull.
Here's another one.
I like that we're like, wow, Hellsdorf, yeah, totally insane piece, and it's just you're
gonna do it again.
And it's a Dark Elf Blitzer with some normals.
Yes. Wow. There it is. The game where we pick players and compare them to other players. Without recognizing the fact that it turns out a Dark Elf Blitzer on the Dwarf team would be an incredible player from the Dwarves.
I mean, it turns out a Dark Elf Blitzer is something basically any team would roster.
I mean, there's a reason why like Dark Elf linemen are positionals on like the Chaos Renegades team.
Yeah. No, I'm doing this very tongue-in-cheek.
Exactly. A Dark Elf Blitzer with normals doesn't get to sit in a nest of guard normally. A nest of armor 9 thick skull guard, often bristling with mighty blow and stand firm.
Okay, so attempt number 1 to pop a hole in this cage goes poorly. Attempt number 2 goes a lot better. Man, the bloodlusts. They've been very bitey. They've been real bitey today. The hypnogaze is also not very hypnotic.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think I've ever watched a Lumi game where the Hypnogazes and Bloodlust have both been not pretty good.
Oh, I lied. It's a Dark Elf Blitzer that on a double decided that Thick Skull was what they wanted, so it's a Cheese X Dark Elf Blitzer.
What? No. Cheesex never took Cheesex has never taken Thick Skull on a double.
He would though.
No, he would not.
I need you to convince me of that.
He would
because I
absolutely
remain
not.
Unconvinced. Lumi has done nothing other than remove his own players this turn so far, and I find that largely amusing.
Cheese, to be fair, Cheese is the only player I have ever seen who has willfully taken Thick Skull, but it was not on a double. And the game he played immediately after getting it, in which we made fun of him for taking Thick Skull kept his troll on the field. So, you know.
So there's actually still a scoring threat. Ooh, why position there? Oh, I guess he didn't want it to be... No, this is really easy to clear off. So he's got...
Well, we didn't exactly have very many options, given that they kept bloodlusting and not hypnogazing correctly.
Yeah, I guess so. But this is going to be what, a 3+ pass into a 3+ catch into a... Never mind. Guess it was a 0 reroll play, so the odds were pretty low. But,
Dwarf passing.
I mean, if only this was not rolling red. Who's the dwarf rolling red? Oh, revert.
Oh, yeah.
Passing dwarf.
The dwarf.
It's
the
two
dwarf
passing dwarves. One has pass and one is accurate.
Yeah, neither are set up for catching. They're both just set up for passing in different ways. I love that team so much. I would totally see Cheese taking Thick Skull on like a Thrall, but I also cannot see Cheese playing vampires without the internet exploding.
No, Orcs forever. He won his first game in our div. I get to play him this season.
The Lumi still has his full complement of vampires, and the dwarves didn't get their 2-turn, so now we have vampires up 1-0. They have all their vampires. Their rerolls have been reset. They're down to 4 because they are missing their leader, which is not insignificant. And so they're up 1-0 and they're on defense. Like, it's certainly not looking bad for Luminous right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect game state for vampires, I guess, after that many turns, though they have taken a bit of damage. Nothing serious. So,
and then they get an extra reroll, so the leader doesn't even matter. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everything is normal.
Except they did lose a bunch of value thralls, but
you know,
whatever.
You lose thralls. That's how thralls work.
Well, the LOS blocks go better, though.
I like how Dr. Dwarf is Dr. Dwarf, not like an honorific. It's like Doctor and Dwarf.
It might be a Spanish thing. They use, well, like lots of Latin languages use commas in ways that we use periods, but I'm not sure if that applies to titles.
Unseen Walker is already aggressively annoying me.
Oh, okay, no. You know, I was giving you some credit. Turns out you're just an idiot. It's fine. You know what? We're all out here trying our best.
Random Boy had both his Strength 4 Thralls die this week.
Random Boy is due for a bit of death, so...
Isn't he Random Man now?
It's really funny because the way you played that there with that pickup, I was like, as like a rat coach, I'm like, oh, if you'd snaked that pickup, it would have been really bad. But I suspect dwarves just don't consider what would happen if they snaked things most of the time.
No, because like a 1 in 36 is really good.
When most of your fail states are snakes, you think about them a lot more, I think.
Oh, yeah, like mostly, you know, I mostly play bash teams, and there are a lot of situations where I'm like, well, if I fail this pickup, it's just really bad, but I can't really not make that decision. The other option is to not pick up the ball, and that's even worse.
A lot of the time when you're playing rats, you're like your turn is a series of 2+, so you're just like, okay, well, how do I mitigate fail states here?
Yeah, it depends on the team you're playing against, really. Like, if I'm playing, like, Wood Elves or Skaven or something, I'll often be, like, super careful about...
Yeah, I mean,
picking up the
Vamps would have
ball.
had to roll some dice to get that ball, even if it had, like, perfect scattered into, like, one tackle zone. So
But
it's not the same. The Rats would have just, like, I would have been, like, Agi 6 as lull and, like, gone and grabbed the ball and, like, been to space. But
against Vamps, I'd prefer to, like, just try to hit more Vamps or more Thralls and make the pickup slightly less safe than to have, like, an ultra safe pickup like I would against Skaven or what else.
Pretty safe cage against Vamp shenanigans. Lumi looking to work some players in behind here, and he's gonna get what he wants.
Guard.
Gonna get a good number of blocks this turn.
You are probably ahead. I don't know. He just moved the dirty player.
Okay. I'll hold off for a few
then the
seconds.
Mighty Blow Thrall is blitzing. Yeah, Agi teams win by minimizing the chance of rolling a failure, and Bash teams win by maximizing the chances of either making their opponents roll a failure or by bashing things, maximizing the chances of bashing things. No armor breaks or anything so far. No crazy vampire shenanigans either, but I don't really think there are many you could really do this turn. We are going to have the dwarfiest dwarf bus I have ever seen slowly chugga-chugging up this field. Like, there are going to be 9 dwarves in 12 squares for the next, like, 7 turns, I think.
And kill teams win by maximizing the chances of your opponents running out of players. Lumi playing the old "I'm just gonna get in your way" game.
Yeah, and Unseen Walker playing that beep beep, I'm a dwarf bus game. Here we come. Choo choo.
Not working perfectly so far, though Lumi's having another one of those Lumi turns, so.
Bonk. Oh, no bonk, we re-roll it. Instead, the dwarf stands firm. Man, watching Unseen Walker play dwarves almost makes me want to play dwarves again, and then I think back to that one time I played dwarves in Clan and slapped myself really hard.
Yeah, they're not fun, even when you're winning.
I feel like I would probably like them more now than the last time I played them, but we do full replays of one game every week, and that game is one that either we pick arbitrarily because we want to watch the coaches, or if it's one that looked interesting, if it's one that people DM'd us about being interesting, or if it's one that has like playoff implications once we get further into the season. We used to like rotate between watching a game and like going over people's teams, but especially in higher divisions, people's teams don't really change that often unless somebody important dies. So it's not really worth looking at the teams every week over and over again. So and it's more fun to just kind of like watch a game and chat with people while we're doing it. We don't exactly offer crazy in-depth analysis, if you haven't noticed, because this is mostly just kind of about chilling out and having a good time with the people in chat, and we can all watch it together.
Ooh,
and kind of laugh at
GFI
stuff.
fail does leave a potential hit on this ball.
No, the GFI fail. Wait, we're blitzing.
Because that
with
means
the
there's
dwarves.
no diving tackle here, so...
Oh, there's the GFI fail. You are so far ahead, and I don't know how you're doing that.
I'm sorry. I've paused every time you said I'm ahead.
Not for long enough. Yeah, it does leave a potential option, but like it's gonna be hard for.
So far, Lumi has failed a hypno gaze and a block, so probably not the dice he's gonna need to actually get this done. Oh, gets the second hypno gaze.
Yeah, it's certainly doable. It just depends on how many players it takes to do, because you're not gonna have a whole lot left.
Just snake. Well, it's not snaking it. Anyway, you know what?
Fails the hypno gaze, rerolls the pro, fails the hypno gaze again, is what you just saw.
Yeah. So elects not to go for the hit on the ball because everything is shit. And now has to deal with the fact that he also bloodlusted on this piece, but he can just bite this down.
You're still ahead. Frenzy block happening.
continuing to pause.
Bites the... are we going to bite the stunned Thrall now? Yeah. There's the bite. Animation is playing.
It's playing for me too.
Thrall is injured. Peach Cobbler is injured. Oh no. Peach Cobbler.
That's a lot of removals. Lumi's running out of players real fast.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the dwarves, I think, are aiming to do here, right? We're going to try to run through the vampire resources, and then if we can get through enough of them, we can score early and still feel good about maybe winning. And if we don't run through them quickly, we can at least guarantee a tie.
There is a 0% chance the dwarves win this game.
I don't think there's a 0%, but I think there's like a less than...
The ball crossed the midline by 1 square this turn.
There's not a 0% chance. Not a 0% chance.
It is theoretically non-zero.
It's like less than 5%.
I think a lot of Bash teams would look to score quickly now and win, but that's the problem with dwarves. Is this half has gone incredibly well for them, and it's still going to be a tie.
It would have to go even more incredibly well for it to be a win. Like if you want it to be ultra like greedy / aggressive, you could be like, right, there aren't going to be very many thralls. It's going to be hard for Lumi to do things. Let's hope he fails stuff and score early. But that's like basically trading your guaranteed tie for a small chance at a win, but a bigger chance at losing. And I don't think that's worth it. You'd have to have this go incredibly well to make like, I want to win this be like your top thought.
The Lumi has made a hole potentially here. He's going for the ball because he realizes that this is his last opportunity probably to stop this from being a... Oof. God, the bloodlust, though.
This is like how Lumi works, though. Bad. He'll play like 3 games in a row with like 98% bloodlust.
I'm not ahead, am I?
No, there's the POW.
Excellent.
I think like this happens with Lumi. He plays a game where he rolls like he never fails a bloodlust, and then the next game he fails all of them. It's like instead of just always having average bloodlust, sometimes they're amazing and sometimes they're garbage. Like there's no average bloodlust.
That was a 5+ dodge for this Thrall to get over by the ball, but then he promptly fell over and stunned himself.
Well done, Thrall.
Yeah, I think that against a lot of teams, I would, especially given how the first couple of turns went after the LOS blocks, I would have expected like Unseen Walker to play more aggressively, but you can't play aggressively against vampires. If you give them,
no, that's how you lose.
I mean, you just saw Lumi. There were like 3 players between Lumi and that ball, and he still hit it and took it out. Like,
especially since it's Lumi's van. I've literally seen Lumi stream his games and him have 2 players on the field, both of which are almost completely surrounded, and him saying, I can still score here, right? Like,
I think that's the 4th dub skull. It's at least the 3rd dub skull. Strength 5 vampire goes, or strength 5 goes down. He's fine though. Though some failed dodges and stuff could have easily seen Emmanuel run off hungry, so can't be too sad about that. Now Unseen Walker has to make the entire length of the field in 2 turns.
I miss Justin Trudeaunut. I like that name.
Justin Trudeaunut was pretty decent.
There was also Vladimir Putin, right? He's gone now.
Yeah, he died. He was the killer.
Yeah, he was a good vamp too. My favorite was Bomboloni, just because I think that's a fun word to say, and that was a Thrall, and he's a zombie now. Or he's a rotter now. Hellsdorf is real speedy. I like the teams that when they have lots of like low armor players, name them all like after a nice theme, and then you often see them like floating around the league, like as like zombies or rotters, whatever. Like MyStays is
a lot of MyStays is Wood Elves, yeah.
Yeah, that's the exact example I was thinking of. Like pretty much everyone in the top 3 divisions of REL had a player named after an element somewhere on their team. So they're all just MyStays is Wood Elves.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a good position to be in. Like, I think that the vampires win this game most of the time from this point. Like, you've got to basically get this vampire out of the way, which you do not do because you do not have Juggernaut. Get that one out of the way, which does help.
The good news is the dwarf with the ball is movement 7, so he doesn't have to move very far forward to be in range. But like,
yeah, but the things supporting him are
that was going to be the next point, and the point after that is just in range is generally not good enough against vampires.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this actually is that both of the players that Unseen Walker had floating around the middle were his movement 5 blitzers, which lets him at least put up some semblance of a cage here.
It should be fine.
It's going to be a cage, but it's not a cage. It turns out is not very good against vampires.
Well, given that there's the vampires are all marked, there's no thralls available. We have to both hypnogaze a corner, blitz down the ball, and recover it. I would be surprised.
No, getting the ball down is totally enough to do this. You don't need to recover it.
I would be surprised if we stop the dwarves here, but it's certainly not impossible.
You need this to be a knockdown though, which is fishing for a POW. So because the dwarf is movement 7, it has the movement to just dodge out backwards and run up. So it's a 2+2+2+ to score. So yeah, I think they did need to get the ball down. They at least needed a push there. A push there would have been a little bit better because it would have... No, actually it would have been fine. Never mind.
I mean, we're just going to punch the vampire. Like, we can fill in the annoying
there's no reason
squares.
to even 2+, so it's going to be a 2+2+.
We fill in the squares so that he can't sidestep to stay on the ball, and then we can just go. Doing the 2+, that gives you a reroll instead of an extra GFI. Makes sense, and we go 1-1.
And I suspect we will stay 1-1, unless Lumi one-turns.
Well, I don't know how reliable that's going to be against several stand firm dwarves and not having that many players left. It depends on the KOs. Depends on the KOs.
No, I think with 3 stand firm, it's a guaranteed no. Yeah, it's 3 stand firm.
Is there 3? Okay, well then it's not going to happen. So it's mostly about, can we get a riot? What stadium are we in? No, we cannot.
Oh no, we're watching this defense. I'm seeing it. What is this? Just trying to give him chain pushes? I'm confused.
We have 3 stand firm, so we could just put those in the
they're on the back. They're in the back line.
End the replay, please.
So like this is theoretically doable.
This is
this is brain soup right here.
Well, this is where I tuned in to Unseen Walker streaming this game, so I'm very aware of what his mindset was like at this point. He was like, "This was so hard." Like, we watched this whole game in a short period of time, but we get to this point, and Unseen Walker on stream is basically like, "This was so hard. This was so much thinking. Why did I have to play this game? Like, I've been doing this forever. My brain hurts."
He gets a blitz, so that's a done deal.
Yep, we're not going to be able to one turn. Is it? No,
it's not possible.
We're just going to guard the absolute hell out of this ball.
No,
Praise be to Nuffle. Is this your work call?
Yes.
Time to be dramatic. Okay, goodbye briefly. So Lumi, we're gonna have to blitz to knock down the ball. And does he has grab, so he doesn't theoretically need the blitz for the one turn, but because he could have it would have been really hard, but that was doable, right? Because he had grab here, so he could have grabbed the dwarf into the square and then started chain pushing this way. He would have just had to have dodged out and picked up the ball and passed it with like this thrall after this, if this block worked. So it was not undoable, but it was very unlikely. So there you go. 13 armor breaks for the Garment Governors as well. So Luminous doing just as much work to remove his own team as as the dwarves did. There you go, 1-1. Okay, thanks for hanging out, Unseen Walker. So now we can go look at all the other results. So for what it's worth, for that match in particular, I think we both predicted Luminous actually, and I don't remember why. But this happens to me every week. Like, why did I pick that? And they tied some results. That was undramatic call.
No, it wasn't. Or it was, yes. An undramatic call.
It was very short. Was it just somebody calling you, shouting the word dicks, and then hanging up?
Yes, exactly.
No, I hope.
Got it.
Got it. That's what your job is, I think.
Yeah.
So first we had MLD, Chaos is Magic, it's Chaos Subaru, and Ordinary Elves.
Why are you doing it in client?
That's a good point. I forgot that we did this not in client.
It's just better to do it in REBBL.net. So.
I mean, it absolutely is. This is what I get for not in the right state of mind. Right. So I think I predicted the Ordinary Elves, and so did you, actually. And we were both wrong. And the reason for that is this number. Or this number, depending on how you want to look at it. But 11 KOs and 5 KAs suffered by the Elves means there were just no Elves. And that's how the Chaos Dwarves win this match, frankly, is making there be no Elves.
Yeah. How did you do that? What? 19 blocks into... Okay, whatever.
19 blocks, 20 armor breaks. It's fine.
Yeah.
One of them was a foul.
Well, that's all you have to do. You just gotta beat the shit out of people.
Although, thankfully for the Elves, none of the real players died. I mean, we got a badly hurt on a leveled player, and all the rest were linos, loners. So who cares? And Chief Underhooves.
Yeah, well, there's only two CAS sustained through blocks. 3 of them were fouls or dodges.
Derpy Hooves probably did a hell of a lot of work, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, that's you brutalized them.
Yeah, that she did. The Elves are all okay, but I mean the Chaos just went okay, I'm gonna kill you now, and then killed them all.
This is the opposite of what happened when I played Holing, and we just had a weird agi shootout where neither of us failed anything all game.
Chief Underhooves leveled. I don't know what we do there. We don't have a ball carrier yet, so maybe that becomes a ball carrying Hobgoblin. I don't know how Chaos Evolution wants to take the team, but that's one of the options there.
The alternative is making Discordorf. I don't know. Yeah, it depends on the direction that she wants to
Discord
take for that Centaur,
and Dwarf. Is it?
I know. Yeah, but that would require 2 Ds theoretically.
Discord Dwarf. It's not that bad.
Anyway,
Anagram Catastrophe. Uber the Nuber. Volcano. Mongoose is loose. 2-1 for the Chaos Dwarfs again. Chaos Dwarf's doing well this time. Although I think this is more expected. I predicted Volcano, and you predicted Anagram Catastrophe.
Yeah, Glart not doing enough. Did get a CAS. The rats actually got a decent amount of damage in, causing 3 CAS, but they just sustained too much. And then maybe failed some critical stuff. But they sustained 11 removals, which is not usually a good sign when you're playing with loners. So
yeah, and their Glart was induced, so we would have had 12 players. So 11 removals is most of the team, certainly.
Thankfully, nothing meaningful. Has a couple of MNGs on linos.
Yeah, who cares?
And that's it. So the rats limp on. But not able to get a touchdown even on throat space. The one turning got a runner, so maybe something went wrong on the one turn attempts. Maybe throat space got KO'd and never came back. Yeah, who knows?
Thragak Steelfist managed to pick up a level, so that's going to be another claw palm chore for this team, I would imagine, giving them 3, which is quite a nightmare. That's more claw palm than a lot of Nurgle teams and stuff will have. Good lord. Dreams of Golden Stream, Superfed, and Locust. I think we both predicted Superfed here.
Yep.
Oh, Amy Brooke died.
Yeah. I mean, Fed's not allowed to have Claw Mighty Blow.
No, I don't think
Only
so.
Only Glart. Fed also has 2 players now.
Oh, Uber says the one-turner got tripwired, sadly.
Yeah, sad. Would have been a tie otherwise, which is way more the expected Chorf result.
This is pretty much exactly how I would have expected this game if you told me to predict
the MVP. Man, I love it.
If you told me to guess how this game would have gone before seeing it being played, I would have said Locust is going to get a boatload of blocks and a boatload of removals, and Superfed is going to win anyway, and that's exactly what happened. 44 blocks, 24 armor breaks, 8 KOs, 3 CAS. Superfed winning 3-2. All 3 of them coming from Megan Rain to level Megan Rain, the strip ball hawk sort of.
Do you notice that button with Bob in the corner?
I do.
If you click that, it downloads the replay file for you.
I kept hovering over that, wondering what it did, and that's exciting. I like that. That's very cool.
So maybe I wonder if that works outside of the week period.
We'll have to wait until next week.
Because they're really small. Like, you could totally just pull them all and like host them. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Although at some point, REBBL.net is going to be hosting so much stuff that the cost of that maintaining that website is not going to be insignificant. So people should donate to MajorByte if you haven't already.
Truth. So it looks like the Rats did get punched a little bit. They took 44 blocks into 24 breaks, but that didn't turn into too much damage, only 7 removals. So Fed getting a little bit lucky, certainly on the damage side of things, other than the dead Star Blitzer.
Oh, if that retains them forever, that's going to be amazing, because there's been so many weeks where we've been like, well, we wanted to watch this one, but we can't because we're doing the recap late or whatever, and that solves that problem completely.
Yep. Not a lot of damage on the Chaos side of things. 1 removal on a Chaos Warrior, but it was the least important one. It is MNG'd, though, so someone is going to be a little bit happy at least next week.
I like that Goaty leveled up. Goaty is a good name for a goat.
Goaty is a good name for a goat. Now Locust has no unleveled players, so,
Nope. So we're going to have to put something on the LOS here.
I mean, probably just a bunch of block and wrestle goats.
Yeah, like
you might give that one wrestle, like, who knows.
Yeah, I'd consider that, and then have a block goat or wrestle goat. You don't really want to put the wrestle tackle on the line, but the other option, I guess, is dirty player. So which is fine.
The LOS against bash teams is a bit awkward for Locus. He may just look to buy another goat if he has got the money for it.
Barbecue Gamer, Barbecue's Pit Crew, and B-Dog, the Bogue Bombers, we both predicted this oppositely, and they tied, so I guess that was a reasonable contentious pick. 1-1. A lot of blocks from both teams, 40 and 42.
Yep, keeping it competitive. Doesn't look like there was a ton of damage. Like, they had kind of an equal amount of damage on either side.
Yeah, more armor breaks from the Chaos Dwarfs, but that's not surprising given the 6 Mighty Blow.
Yeah, but the blockers are the one that took the damage. We got an Agi bust on Kansas City Ribs and a badly hurt on Beef Ribs. So not a good day to be Ribs.
No. Korean Short Ribs turned out okay. Baby Back Ribs, Memphis Ribs, St. Louis Ribs are all okay. There's too many ribs.
Too many ribs. And we have a badly hurt on the Rando Wrestle Catcher.
Gobbo Steve.
I know, Gobbo Steve.
And Fudge leveled. Oh, I love Fudge.
Leveled, yeah. Fudge got 2 Kaz. Fudge just out there wrecking
Chorfs.
Wrecking Chorf blockers, apparently.
Oh man, I need to like. I want an ogre. I want an ogre named Fudge.
I hope he gets block. I hope he gets strength.
Yeah, that would be. I mean,
Jack.
He really does want block at this point.
He got piling on.
Yeah, that's another reasonable choice.
I do not agree with that sentiment, but you know what?
If you already have guard and stand firm, I mean, your other choices are break tackle and grab, and grab is not really that useful. I mean, a little bit, given that catcher, I suppose.
Yeah, I think given that he's going to be doing 1 turns, I wouldn't hate grab. Anyway, looks like a game where the Chorfs just couldn't quite get the damage they needed to win, and the humans were able to sustain and punch back.
And yeah, they probably didn't get, like, humans. Maybe the Chorfs stopped a 2-turn or something for the humans so that they couldn't 2-1 grind it or what have you. I'm not exactly sure how it worked out, but something didn't go right for both teams probably to have this end up in a 1-1.
So many ties. Wrath of Nuffle from Cullen and Grungy Desserts from Stouticus is another tie. Of course, this is Chaos versus Nurgle, so it's not exactly the most surprising tie. But
Chaos Subalu, a Blood Bowl coach after my own heart. Both grab and break tackle would be better, but piling on is more fun. Thank you.
Correct. Grungy Desserts, unsurprisingly outpunching the Chaos, usually how these sort of things go. Equal breaks on both sides and a truly crushing amount of damage on both sides, to be honest.
I'm surprised this went, like, I think maybe, like, given that there's so many more blocks for Grungy Desserts, you probably would have expected more damage from them, considering they also have
none of the Kaz they sustain. Only one of the Kaz they sustained stuck, and they caused 4 Kaz to the Chaos, one of which got appoed. Niggle on a random Lino is not a big deal. Movement bust on a Chaos Warrior is a big deal. It's not going to retire.
It's not a fireable offense. It's just annoying.
Yeah, it looks like the damage came across a lot of different players. Nurgle just getting slightly better removal dice, but not enough to win the game.
There's Bomboloni.
There is Bomboloni. He's all right. Everything Zabayoni is badly hurt and also dead.
Yeah, so one of those is more important.
One of those is more important. But he might get better.
It's a rotter life.
It's a hard knock life.
For rotters.
So yeah, it's a bash game. They beat each other up.
Ramaset and Skirgle, Stacy. Ramaset taking this one.
I think I picked Ramaset, didn't I?
I mean, I can check if you'd like. You took Stacy.
I think this is one I waffled on and then flipped at the last minute, and I feel bad. Eldril Sidewinder getting the MVP he probably deserves, but that Ramaset hates to see. Ramaset with his 4 rostered players pulling out a win.
Hey, Eldril Sidewinder is rostered for Ramaset at this point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, given that his Blitzer is MNG'd and his guard Lino is niggled, so also MNG'd, he's going to have 3 players.
Very little TV.
Wait, has Alphabet Soup always had double movement up?
He did last game.
Yeah, I did. I like that player. That's my new favorite weird Pestigore.
There's always
all of my favorite weird Pestigores have double movement ups because that's the only way to make Pestigores interesting.
Bird, and Donut in a Hole.
Donut in a Hole had 2 movement ups. Bird did not. Bird was one of the vampire ones.
Yeah.
There are 2 vampire ones though, and I think they're both dead now.
Yes.
Anyway, level up on a Nurgle warrior that did need it, a block guard, stand firm one to get Mighty Blow probably. Maybe something like dodge on a double, but
that's yeah. If you get a double, you take dodge. If it's not a double, you take Mighty Blow, and that's basically the end of story for that player. Strength would be lovely, I guess, is another option there. But it's, if you only roll normals on a Nurgle warrior, it's, block, Mighty Blow, claw, guard, stand firm, tackle in some order. And it depends on how you what you prioritize at the time. What you
Ramaset causing a shocking amount of damage, really. 19 blocks into 6 armor breaks into 6 removals.
Every armor break doing some work.
Well, no, 2 of the removals, 1 KO and the Kaz, were both dodges or fouls or something like that. So.
And then we watched the Ragedorf versus Gormego winner game, so we don't need to pick that one apart. Locus and Holing, All-Stars of Chaos versus Ordinary Elves, 2020 Chaos, 1590 Wood Elves. So Locus is missing 1 warrior, like we pointed out, but it's not a critical war. It's guard, which is certainly important, but it's not like tackle or Mighty Blow, which is kind of slightly more important, I think, here. Given that he has some guard, right? If it was his only guard against Wood Elves, certainly that'd be really important, but...
And he does have sure hands, but he's going to be facing a Wizard and Eldril, probably. I like the Wood Elves, I think.
Yeah.
Vague Ghoul Pusher is going to do some damage, and Pitbull Baby Breath is going to be a bit of a terror, but the movement 6 is just not going to be enough, I don't think.
So the Slayer of the Tsar with the sure hands is really important, but Lightning Bolt, Eldril, the fact that the strip ball player is also strength 4 means that it's, unless we're ultra careful with the 2 guard, 3 guard, no, we have 4 actually, unless we're ultra careful with our cages, that's still a 1 die pretty much whenever the War Dancer wants, and the Wizard doesn't really care about the amount of guard, certainly, and there's an agi piece to take advantage of that. This screams 2-1 elves, and the elves lose all their players, to me, frankly.
Yep. So I'm going to pull up the prediction somewhere.
Yep. I have done as well. I'm also going to take the elves just because I think that it's that many inducements against chaos as elves with good tools like those elves have is annoying for the chaos. B-Dog and Mongoose. So B-Dog,
oh man, I did suck. -4. Awesome.
Yeah, I did tell you. I didn't tell you what you were at, but I told you that you were bad.
Who's winning? Barbecue Gamer and Wandering BME. Wandering BME is winning overall, I think. Yeah.
He is, yeah, by a lot.
By a lot. Look at you doing the thing.
So B-Dog gets his second Shorf team in a row, and this one is significantly more punchy than the last one.
Yep, though getting it out of the way early, not actually a good thing, but
yeah, I mean,
I feel better about it once he's through.
3 Clawpalm Shorfs.
Yeah, but Fudge has got a taste for Chorf blocker blood, so
that's
he's
true.
Gonna tear through them.
But Fudge has developed a desire.
I don't like the way you phrased that.
I do.
It's a good thing if you don't get murdered. I mean, anytime you play a Chorf team and you don't get murdered, you're pretty happy with how things went, I think.
I think it's just it's the punchiest Chorf team.
Yeah, but it's punchy in a tall way.
It's true.
It's only gonna get. I mean, it's gonna get the LOS hits, but I mean, beyond that, it doesn't even get 4 mighty blow hits on the LOS. Like in terms of like blitzing the rule of 5 or whatever.
That's
like
true.
It's only got the 3 claw palm hitters, so it's not crazy unless Mongoose's claw palm is popping, right?
There's two bench for the humans, and they're not going to get any inducements, so that's 2 bench is pretty significant against a removal heavy team.
Yeah, I kind of like the humans here.
I'll take the Chorfs then, and we can have something.
Damn it, you're kind of
separate. Well, then take the Chorfs.
No, I believe in B-Dog.
Chaos Subaru. B-Dog is certainly really good, and you shouldn't B-Dog going real far with those humans last season. I just think that the Mongoose knows how to punch humans to death. Chaos Subaru with Chorfs against Cullen with Chaos. 1760 Chorfs and 1620 Chaos, because the Chaos are missing a couple players after the beating they took this week.
Chaos Subaru has a claw now.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 guard for the Chaos, which is kind of the thing that matters a lot here.
So that means the Chorfs are out guarded, but wait, no, yeah,
yep.
1, 2, 3,
barely.
4, yeah, they're out guarded, and out strength. Though there is 1 warrior down, and it is a claw mighty blow guard 1, so you're pretty happy about that. Pretty sure you don't win this one. I agree narrowly. I think.
I think the one thing that the Chorfs really have going for them is that the Chaos don't have a bench at all. Although they do get 140, so they could fix that a little bit if they wanted to. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this is. I keep saying this, but like, if you have to force me to choose one, which you do because that's how this game works. I would pick the Chaos. I think I just think that they have slightly more removal potential, slightly more guard potential, and that's the kind of annoying bit for the Chorfs.
No, I believe in the Chorfs.
Okay.
Don't lead me astray, Chaos Subaru. You have to win now, or I'll hate you forever. Nothing personal.
Or I'll hate you forever. Nothing personal.
I'll hate you clinically.
I'll hate you impersonally. Professional hatred, not personal. Anagram, Catastrophe, Uber, and Skirgle from Stacy. 1520 Skaven.
I'm always ready to hate people.
80 Nurgle.
That's my superpower. So Uber gets 1 billion inducements again. Has patches Torah still somehow.
And throat space.
And throat space.
Ooh, and Stacy is missing the Beast of Nurgle for this game, which is actually really annoying against rats.
It's really shitty against rats. Does have a sure hands ball carrier that with pseudo agi.
And a double movement up, movement busted Pestigore.
Oh right, he's movement busted. I'm like, I know there's something that makes me not like Alphabet Soup, and it's the movement bust. Yeah. He's not that exciting. If he was a movement 8 agi 4 wrestle tackle piece, woof.
Movement 7 Agi 4 wrestle tackle. Terrible. Especially since he blitzes with strength 4. What an awful, terrible garbage piece.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just a dark elf blitzer with wrestle tackle.
Yeah, it's a dark elf blitzer with normals. Wow. And horns. And regen. And Nurgle's Rod. I hate that so much.
That one was definitely just about you.
I really hate playing against Skaven as someone who's played a lot of Nurgle. So that puts things.
I think
I like the Skaven. I mean, they don't have a lot, but they have what they need, right? There's 4 gutter runners, a boatload of inducements, a Claw Mighty Blow Blitzer, and the missing Beast of Nurgle.
Oh man, we get a Lumi fed game
week
so
2.
early. So early in the season.
Why did we watch Lumi this week when we could watch him next week?
Because there are no rules, and I'll watch whoever I goddamn well please.
Also, Lumi will be streaming this. It's scheduled for 2200 my time, which would be, I almost said 2500, but that's not how time works. It's
2100 Western or Eastern rather. Today. Yeah.
Today, yeah.
So that's pretty soon. That's 9 p.m. today.
10. So it's in 3 hours.
Yeah. Tune in. It'll be a spicy game. It always is with those two.
Certainly is. So Fed has the sort of other than the blitzer that died, the full team. All the gutter runner, all the gutter runners are available. So he's got the sacking one, the recovery
he's
one,
missing a gutter runner.
All his gutter runners, like the ones he uses. He's missing a blitzer and a gutter runner in terms of like a full team, but he's got his.
He gets 700k. He
gets his sacker, he gets his recovery piece, and he gets his one turner, and he has 700k for bench for Glart for a wizard. Lumi might even consider like dropping some of this bench because he's not likely to lose a ton against Skaven. Although, I mean, dropping like you probably only really want to drop 2, and removing 80k worth of inducements from like 900k isn't really anything important. But
yeah, I think that Lumi is going to be on the back foot a lot on this one. No sure hands against a crazy sacker.
Although the like strength 3 doesn't really matter here because he's going to have it on strength 4.
Well, it matters in the sense that Fed will require fewer assists to make it not a triple red die.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're going to be happy most of the time. You can dive into a natural cage and not get triple red died. So you don't need to give any assists or you don't need to take away any anti-assists if it's like a standard cage.
Vampires don't standard cage too often.
They don't. It's true. I think I like Superfed here. It's early season early season Superfed. He's pretty unstoppable. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like.
But every time I vote against Lumi, I'm wrong. So
yeah, this is a thing, right? Every time you.
Sometimes I pick Lumi and he loses, but every time I vote against Lumi, he wins. So I'm going to vote against Lumi because that result will amuse me more than gaining a point would.
So I should pick Lumi then, so that since you picked him, he'll win, and therefore I can pick him and get the point, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and you don't have my powers. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, frankly, I agree with you in that I think Fed will probably win this. He's got, several seasons worth of like, I have 3 super gutter runners and 900k worth of inducements experience that took him all the way to the Super Bowl. So he certainly knows how to play that team and in that situation very, very well, which it's hard to predict against him, but your curse has me convinced. I'll take Luminous. Superfed is going to hate me now because I predicted against him, and that's going to curse him or something. I don't know how his superstitions work. Something about Snapple and like wrong underwear.
I think it works by any time that Fed loses, it's not his fault. I think that's how the superstition works.
I think so. Dwarves and Chaos Dwarves. Barbecue's Pit Crew and Ragedorf. 1920 Chorfs versus 2040 Dwarves. Normally you're like, Chorfs, Dwarves, oh no, like the Chorfs have some tools that Dwarves don't have.
The Chorfs get a wizard though. And if they ditch 50k, they get exactly a wizard.
Although I was going to say, great, how are they ever going to take advantage of that? But they have 2 edgy 4 hobgoblins, so I guess they could, theoretically.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to take the wizard. I think that before I realized they got a wizard, I thought the dwarves were going to win for sure. It's only one Mighty Blow.
That's what my thought was too. They're
missing a blocker.
Yeah, these Chorfs don't really have the things that Chorfs normally do that make them different than dwarves. Like right now they're like basically a dwarf team with less dwarves, which is not exactly a great way to play the dwarves against dwarves. They do have St. Louis Ribs, who's like certainly an important piece, but there's one of them. Do have a good ball carrier. The Bull Centaurs aren't like unfair.
Are you ready for that Dauntless piece to kill the Strength 5?
Oh, absolutely.
I have to, if Insane Dwarf survives that long, I have to watch the Insane Dwarf versus Wood Elf game so I can see if Insane Dwarf gets to Dauntless a treat.
I want to really bad.
Yeah, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, the Wizard makes that awkward, I think, for the Dwarves, but
I think that this will actually be a tie, but I'm going to pick the Chorfs because I think they're... No, I think the Dwarves are slightly more likely to win.
See, I was going to say, I'm going to disagree with you because you're like, you think it's going to be a tie. I think it's going to be a tie. We'll pick opposite coaches, but I've already picked Ragedorf, but.
Okay, well, have we picked opposed on anything?
Yeah, we opposite with Dreams of Golden Streams and Gourmet Governors so far. And I think Chaos Subaru and Wrath of Nuffle.
And then we have Grungy Desserts and Voltrex Vanguard finally, rounding things out. So Nurgle versus High Elves, Ramesset getting the high TV Nurgle bash teams out of the way first.
There's a lot of them. So
this is the particularly slow Nurgle team. It's got 3 movement busts.
Yep.
And a rookie Beast of Nurgle.
These two have definitely played each other at least several times by this point. Like these teams.
Awesome! The guard line was double niggled. Sweet.
That's not something you want. Hey, this piece that's kind of whole job is to mark stuff so that you can punch other things better is also double niggled now. Enjoy.
Yeah, in a division full of Claw Mighty Blow.
Oof.
Stouticus.
So the things that Stouticus doesn't like are the movement kind of the elves, basically. He doesn't care so much about like the elf, sort of defensive sort of play, but the elf offensive sort of play is certainly something that he's going to have a hard time dealing with, I think, given how fast the elves are. So it is really going to depend on how well Stouticus can stop like a 2-turn or a 3-turn or whatever, because like the only way that I think Stouticus wins this is if he wins the like 2-1 grind sort of game plan.
Yeah, I also think Ramaseg is going to win.
Yes, I would agree with you. Okay, so let's move on to Div 2, 2A.
Well, Commanders in Grief got around to accepting their ticket. Proud of them.
Hooray! But we didn't predict anything there because they hadn't predicted it.
They lost.
They
anyway.
hadn't
Did they
accepted
concede?
They may
No,
have.
I think I played. Well, let's look
okay.
at that.
Well, we didn't predict anything because they were not a real team at the time of recap.
Truth. So they lost to Fragile and Limp, which is the Dark Elf team. Yeah, Dark Elf versus Orcs. Normally a pretty decent matchup for the Orcs, especially Orcs with as much Mighty Blow as these ones have. Blocks went aggressively in the Orcs' favor. They got average-ish breaks, but did not get the damage they wanted. In fact, sustained almost as much damage as they caused. Wait, what?
The
Dark Elf sustained 2 extra Kaz, possibly from dodges or fouls.
Yes.
But yeah, just not enough to get the job done.
Well, the Witch Elf is a pretty important piece of this team, I think, and if that went out early, that'd be a problem. There's still other really good blitzers. This movement Agi blitzer and the strip ball blitzer are both pretty good. Sorry, that's not a Witch Elf. That's a lineman that I thought was a Witch Elf because it has jump up, and I made that exact mistake when we were looking at the team earlier. So the Orcs take that one. And we had Monster Bash, Tech 19, and Sterling Hornets from Clown Thulu. Load. There we go. 2-1 for Tech 19. Wow.
Yeah, that's a team getting deleted. Not permanently, but certainly in that game. The only dead was a Lino, so not that bad. But 6 Kaz sustained. Not great. Will lead to teams losing usually.
6 Kaz and 2 KOs? Yeah, I mean, oof.
So the only MNG is the kick and a Blodge Lino, so not that big of a deal. But yeah, the Necro really getting her done.
Nothing
41
like
blocks into 13 breaks. 13 breaks, giving 6 Kaz it's pretty bonkers. None of those are from fouls. Well, there were 2 fouls in both. Well, there were at least 2 fouls because there were 2 expulsions. But all of the Kaz at least came from getting punched, and in fact, all the KOs too. So fouls not getting anything done. It looks like a lot of stun send-offs, maybe.
Yeah, all the elves are okay, so they'll be coming back. Other than the rookie or the loner who died, but who cares? He's a loner.
Well, he'll be coming back in the sense that he's now a zombie.
That's true.
And now the Necro have a stupid zombie name on their team.
There it is.
Kalrenin Tindeland.
I like how they show up twice in the game report because for like Necro and Undead, because you can start using them immediately.
Yep.
It's fun. So they show up twice. Here we fall and Abysmal Cusp, Sarkodiak, and fall. 2-1 for Sarkodiak. Prince Moranian died.
Oof.
I mean, he's induced, certainly, but you know, he got a Kaz and then died in return, so that's the thing. Oh, it's 1 tree offense 2. Is that a 2 tree offense?
I don't know, man. The Star Blitzer also getting a Kaz, but yeah, not enough going on here for the for fall, and his elves.
No, well, Abysmal
Nurgle.
Cusp got 17 armor breaks, which is 8 KOs. Only 1 Kaz, but like still, if nine KOs means there's just going to be, depending on the KO recoveries, even if they're good, there's not going to be a whole lot of elves on the field for a lot of the game, and Nurgle are going to be able to kind of they're even though they're Nurgle, they'll still be able to score again if there just aren't enough elves to stop them.
Yeah, for sure. And your 300k player got removed. I mean, Prince Moranian might even be more than 300k. So like your huge inducement died. So
yep.
Not a great start.
Ratak, the Rodder leveled, nothing exciting there, but Garriston the third, an actual lineman for fall leveled, so he'll be able to get dodge or block or something.
Actual line. Not
a rookie lineman. Or a loner. I keep saying rookie, I mean loner.
And then Wandering BME and Yayo tied. They punched each other almost identically. Chaos versus Nurgle, 0-0. No one bothered to score.
Yep. That seems
some
about
big injuries though.
Very chaos.
Blodge Tentacles Strength 4 Beastman, which is a weird piece, got niggled. So that's very unfortunate for a piece whose job is to base people and stand there.
Well, in 4 SPP it gets guard, and then he'll actually be useful.
And Kilduke died. Kilduke the Rotter died and was badly hurt.
Killed Duke. More like.
Excuse me while I choke on my jowls.
Oh man, now I'm just thinking of because I've got the like Dune movie in my head because of the trailer. So like the Lord guy. Oh man, why can't I remember his
Harkonnen?
name? Yeah, Duke Harkonnen. A giant fat Duke on his
Isn't
floaty thing.
Canonically Harkonnen.
I don't know. The audiobook I listened to was Harkonnen, so that's what's in my mind.
Interesting. The real-time strategy video game from the 1990s was definitely House Harkonnen because it was like
the precursor to Command and Conquer.
Yeah, it was really good. It was not, but I did play it a lot.
Oh, I mean, it was the precursor to Command and Conquer, which like basically invented RTS. So like it's super influential in gaming history, certainly.
I played a lot of it. Ugh.
Oh man, now I'm thinking of Command and Conquer. Red Alert 2 is such an incredible game. Oh my gosh.
It is.
Everybody,
is Red Alert 2 the one with the ant mode? Or is that Red Alert 1? I think it's Red Alert 1.
Everybody rips on Red Alert Renegade, but I played many an hour of Red Alert Renegade as a young child.
That's not true. Everyone rips on Red Alert 3, and that is deserved.
Everyone rips on both of those, and I think technically they're both deserved, but I also agree with the Red Alert 3 ripping.
Everyone agrees with Red Alert 3. Anyway, that was when the game went truly off the rails.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting. I'm now the best moment of any video game ever is still Tim Curry in Red Alert 2. This little FMV, like, because if you've played Red Alert 2, all of the like cutscenes are video, they're like recorded actors, right? And Tim Curry plays one of the like communists, like the Soviets in it, and he has a line where you can tell he's trying so hard not to laugh the entire time he's saying it, and he just fails miserably.
He plays the goofy Russian guy, right?
Yeah, he goes, it's like, we have to go to the one place not destroyed by filthy capitalism. Space. The whole time he's just smiling and cracking up because he can't say that line.
I mean, that series had terrible writing and got excellent voice actors.
Oh my god, which makes it so good.
Was it Command and Conquer? God, which one had James Earl Jones?
Red Alert. I think it's still Red Alert 2.
Red Alert 2 had Tim Curry and James Earl Jones. Like, what the hell?
Now I need to know that. Which one was he in? It might have been Command and Conquer, because he was one of the no, he was in Tiberian Sun.
I was Tiberian Sun. So I was trying to remember. It was like the weird kind of sci-fi one.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm playing this because I have to. We're pausing the recap.
How we get copyright struck.
I don't make money off this. It's fine. Here's 11 seconds of Tim Curry. You can deal with it, okay? This is phenomenal. Are we ready for this? Just watch his face. He can't stop laughing.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
That face. Space!
It's a good delivery for sure.
It's so good.
I'm glad that we've completely derailed this recap.
Yeah, welcome to how we work. Okay, where were we?
That was a sudden but inevitable departure.
Yeah, curse your sudden but inevitable
So yeah,
betrayal.
they punched each other equally. They broke each other equally. They both sustained about 4 KOs. They both sustained. Yield Guard got slightly outcast. And it was 0-0, which is the most Nurgle Chaos shit ever.
Yeah, I mean, Nurgle Chaos 0-0, 1-1, both are very common score lines for the same reason. It just depends on whether or not you manage to score or not.
Wandering is a little sour because his best beastman, well, his best non-standard beastman is now niggled, which is a death sentence for that one. But
yeah, pretty much.
I think you keep him around, but he's gonna die
until he dies. But that'll be probably soon.
Yeah, I don't love Strength 4 tentacles. I don't know, but anyway.
Det Monkey and Minamo. Practice makes permanent, and the Horn Stars.
Oh, I remember this. I picked Minamo, and then I was like, that monkey's definitely going to win. I remember as I picked it. Practice make permanent, coming out on top, despite getting an armor-busted Blitzer, which is unfortunate, but not as bad as an armor-busted Black Orc.
Why is that Black Orc's name Fractured Ass?
It's a good question. Det Monkey, why do you have a Black Orc named Fractured Ass?
I don't know. He makes up for it with a troll named Ugly Bag of Mostly Water, which I appreciate.
It's fair. Orcs are doing the orc thing that sometimes happens versus Chaos, where the Chaos don't immediately get removals, and the orcs beat the ever-living tar out of you.
Yeah, they just sort of bully you. You can't get good blocks, and then they keep getting blocks, and then on the back of lots of blocks, they remove you, right? Like 49 blocks versus 29 shows that whole story, immediately, right?
Yep, and 3 Kaz extra sustained for the Horn Stars shows me that Det Monkey was doing some fouling with his dirty players. But there were 3 expulsions for the Horn Stars, so I think this game just devolved. There were 8 permanently removed players on the Horn Stars side, so
yeah, that's not a win for Chaos. Not a win.
Not a win at all. No, it sounds like a frustrating game, perhaps.
Richard Rockhard died, but he was just a rookie, so it's okay.
Who cares? Yeah, not a great game.
Agrain and Not for Science. Agrain back in the high divs after a run with the Dark Elves. Now with Chorfs.
Yeah, he got diced by T-Self this week.
2-2.
In Clamp.
He also got beaten to death by High Elves as Chorfs. So
Jesus. No, wait, no. Other way around.
Yes, there we go. That makes more sense. Wow. That makes a lot more sense.
I scrolled down and I saw the line. I was like, you're right. I'm like, no, wait, no, you're wrong.
And that can't be right. Catcher leveled up and died. So, that's the thing.
Yeah. Leveled up and taking death. It's the meme. Yeah, I mean, there were 33 blocks to 16, 25 armor breaks for Agrain into 8 KOs and 6 casts.
And
still the High Elves tied because High Elves,
Well, he scored twice on the catcher who died, so...
yeah, just yikes, man. Just yikes.
No, we don't get to take any SPP away from the tie, but we managed to tie. I mean, I guess the thrower got 3.
I mean, Fen and Rowe got 3 complete passes,
Yeah. He's
going to be down a Raj Leap guard piece and a block guard piece. So no guard for Not for Science next week.
No. Lord Nathaniel Meyer might have a harder time getting some blocks in.
Definitely a hard-earned draw.
Yeah, oh man, paid for in blood. Where was I? Trunkhead and Eisenmike, Damn Yankees, and the Self-Hating Dwarves. Trunkhead takes this one. Not unsurprisingly, I feel, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember anything I said last week. I think I said last week, as soon as the recap ends, I forget everything I've said, so.
Yes, you did.
I remember that part.
From the last match, earning me my only point in Div 2 is Trunkhead. So Trunkhead's the only one I like in Div 2, and the rest of you can take a long walk on a short pier.
Something concrete shoes. Dwarves, yeah, obviously out blocking the Dark Elves.
and removing them too.
Yeah, boatload of armor breaks and a boatload of removals. Four Kaz and 4 KOs suffered. None of the Kaz are permanents other than the dead loner.
Yeah, he's going to be out Captain America next week, but other than that, looking good. And so getting through the dwarf Mighty Blow. Not that Eisenmike's team is Mighty Blow spammy, really. It's not that killy.
No.
That said, Eisenmike did get 2 levels out of it, which is nice.
Yeah.
Long grinding matches 3. Gonna level and probably get Mighty Blow. And who's going to catch 4?
Tackle?
Probably not going to get catch. Probably going to take tackle.
Yeah, the level on the blocker isn't like irrelevant, but it's not that important. He's already got guard stand firm. Mighty Blow is certainly great, just another extra Mighty Blow hit. It's just not something, it's not super important. But the level on the runner is really nice. Having, movement 6 wrestle tackle on a dwarf team is definitely significant when you normally don't have mobile tackle. So Trunkhead takes that one off. I assume the Kaz came late in the game, otherwise that may have been difficult. But the 2 TDs did come from players that weren't Kaz, so it's entirely possible that we just managed to get some 2 turns off with the high agi piece. But Trunkhead taking the win there. So we can do some predictions for next week now, I suppose.
Fuck yeah. There's pasta cooking and it is killing me right now. So
Commanders in Grief, cold cuts. We have Orc, Chorf, 2050 Orc, 1780 Chorf. So this is the exact same problem that we talked about sort of before with the Chaos, right? The Orcs are going to be able to bully the Chorfs in that they outguard and outstrength them so aggressively. Like, yeah, sure, the Chorfs have like a Claw Mighty Blow.
They have 3, strictly speaking.
That's true, but it's difficult for them to actually utilize it outside of the LOS blocks, right?
Oh, no, I think that the Orcs are going to win this. There's an AV busted blocker and a niggled blocker. Like, this is going to be pretty hard for Agrain unless the removals really roll his way. So I would take the Orcs here every time. I
would as well. I mean, the Orcs are just going to sort of bully them, right? Sometimes punchy, more Claw Mighty Blow teams hate guard spam, and that's what Orcs are, right? Yeah.
And then we have Trunkhead and Debt Monkey. They're both carrying extra cash, so the inducements are roughly right. Trunkhead gets about 100k, could spend 50k out of pocket to get a wizard, would make this game a not Trunkhead. Debt Monkey's going to be down 1 of his Mighty Blow tackle blitzers, but he has 4. That's a lot of Mighty Blow tackle.
It is.
Which is going to be helpful against the many dodge of Trunkhead's team. This is going to be hard, I think, for Trunk. This is not a good matchup. The Wizard...
It's not an easy one.
The Wizard plus an Agi 5 Witch Elf with Leap for recovery and an Agi 5 Witch Elf for passing to means that he's got a shot, certainly, but he needs a lot of stuff to not go wrong in the meantime, and there's going to be a lot of incoming damage, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be hard to justify. I think you're right in that if you're willing to spring the extra money for the Wizard, that that's how you have your chance at winning this. But early on in the season, when you don't necessarily need a win, right? You don't know how that's going to shake out. Every win is important, obviously, but you can probably afford 1 loss throughout the season, even if you make playoffs. And you still have the whole season to go. You might want that money kicking around to buy more elves, right? Considering how bashy this team is. So I don't know if you'd want to spend the money on the Wizard and just accept that the match is going to be really hard.
Well, does he have anything to replace? He doesn't. I would probably spring for the Wizard here. I don't think that he's in a position to call any game a loss, in week 2. So not that you would automatically lose without the Wizard, but I think the Wizard makes it a lot easier.
It does make it a lot easier, and I think my point is that if this was week 10 and you knew you had to win it, you 100% buy the Wizard. 100%. If it's week 2 where you don't really need to win, maybe you don't. It depends on what type of coach Trunkhead feels like being, I think. But I wouldn't criticize someone for not spending the money on the Wizard there, I think, is the long and short of it. But I'm going to agree with you and take, even with the Wizard, I think that Monkey has a reasonable chance. So most of the time, I think the Orcs win. And then we have BME and the Dwarfs of Eisenmike. 1850 Chaos versus 1680 Dwarfs.
Not usually where you want to be as dwarves.
5 guard is
the Beastman, the strength 4 blodge piece being out is kind of a blessing. Not that piece is bad to have, of course, but it's just not as useful as it would be
elsewhere
against basically any other team. Only 4 guard for the chaos, which is a classic chaos problem.
I think 6 for the dwarves.
Yeah.
5. So the dwarves are not actually outguarding the chaos by that much.
And the chaos are quite a bit bigger, so that's expected.
Yeah, and the chaos have the strength, and they have the 2 Claw Mighty Blow that could even up that guard very quickly, especially if the chaos go first. Considering the dwarves are also out of blocker.
Dwarves don't have a bench, though they have almost 200k, so they're going to get something.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I mean, possibly an Apo and a Babe, to be honest.
Apo wouldn't be surprising. If you wanted to get a bench, there's like that cheap star player who's just a Longbeard with a gun or whatever. That probably wouldn't be bad as an LOS piece. I think that's Chorf's Boomer. Maybe.
Oh, is it Chorf only? Oh, yeah, right.
Might be just to get a bench, and it's a player you can put on the LOS you don't care about, who's cheap. But I think that, I would probably pick the Chaos here, I think.
Yeah.
Fallen, not for science. I'm sure both of these high elf coaches are excited to play an elf off instead of a bash off or a bash team like they will be for most of the season. 1730 versus 1620. Lord Nathaniel Marr is the anti-elf piece in this matchup, though.
Yes, in the same way that most bash teams would happily roster a Dark Elf Blitzer, most Agi teams would happily roster a Human Blitzer, so...
Yeah, Fall's team a bit more elfy. There's more movement for Fall's team, and there's a lot of sidestep and sort of diving tackle. Not for science. We've got a kind of a silly thrower, Agi 5 piece, and Lord Nathaniel Marr. It's a good question. I don't know how to pick this one. So not for science gets a.
Do you see the number of red symbols next to Bertoluxilus?
Yes. He is armor busted, movement busted, Agi busted, and MNG'd, or is that a Niggle?
That's an MNG. Niggle is a different symbol.
Right. It's the bone. Yeah. So he's missing a strength bust, and then he can collect them all.
Well, strength bust and a Niggle, yeah.
So there's 100k for Not for Science, which is not.
Not for Science has a better sacker. Several of all the positionals for Fall are pretty fragile. It's got quite a bit of armor 7, armor 6, even because of armor busts. So
yeah, this is really hard to predict, frankly. And I think a lot of it comes down to Lord Nathaniel Marr, right? If he can do.
Lord Nathaniel Marr and also Rallo's Sec is the Raj Agi 5 strip ball. There's no sure hands on the other elves team, on the other elf side. So
this I think would be certainly
at least movement 6 away from Rallo, so he can just take the ball.
This might be a watch candidate in an early contender for
tactical game.
You know what I should. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start highlighting things that we say might be a watch candidate while we're predicting, so that we actually have something to remember next week. And that might be worth doing in my prediction sheet. Just so that we don't start next week and be like, what are we watching again? There was a game we were talking about, right? This way we can remember.
It's fair. I think Fall's going to win.
Cool. I'll take Fellow Squad it all then, and we'll have a contentious one.
Nice.
Hornstars and Tech 19 Monster Bash. 1760, who are really 1710 after spending money. Necro versus 1970 Chaos. Agi 4 Wolf is the sort of the bane of the Chaos team, but that's basically the whole plan for Monster Bash, I think.
It's also true that Monster Bash has an enormous bench and is going to get 250k in inducements, which is Cheney if he wants it. So it could even get even bigger. Probably wants a wizard with an Agi 4 Wolf.
Yeah.
I like the Necro here, I think. As long as they don't get utterly bashed to hell, I think they've got a pretty good shot.
Which is certainly possible. 4 guard, 5 guard. I don't know. Let's do another contentious one then, and I'll take the chaos just because I'm unsure, and we do need to finish this. Fragile and Limp and Ye Old Guard. So we've got 1750 Dark Elves, 1990 Nurgle. Dark Elves are missing their Lino, but they have their movement 9, movement 8 blitzers. They have their Agi 5-piece. Both witches, 1 guard. What do the Nurgle have for tackle? They've got 3, and they're all in Pestagoras, which is not insignificant. Scourge is so close to leveling and being useful. He's almost there. 4 more SPP. You can do it, buddy. 3 guard, 2 blodge. We do have the shore hands as well.
The dark one.
Normally I don't dislike Nurgle for this. I don't mind playing Dark Elves as Nurgle. But
they've got a couple of movement up players that are going to make them more like traditional elves, I think. And
that's exactly what my next sentence is going to be. That makes it a bit more hard for the Nurgle. So I'm going to agree with you there. Oh, that one is also predicted incorrectly, or it's like the
drop down is wrong.
Yeah, if you hit Control Alt Shift 1, it might fix. I don't know if you have permissions, but you can also just copy paste the right name into that box because it looks for the name as written. So if you just typed Fragile and Limp, it probably wouldn't pick it up, but just copy paste Fragile and Limp into the drop down, it should be okay. The cheat might yell at you, but
it does not yell at me.
If you do that, okay, good. So just copy paste it and it'll be okay. And then the only reason the drop down is there is because people type the names differently, and then I'd have to figure it out rather than just have it automatic. So the drop down just makes it so that it's always going to be written the same. So as long as you copy paste it, the drop down doesn't matter. But people won't listen to me when I say that, so I made the drop down. Clon Thuglu, Sterling Hornets versus Abysmal Cusp. The words are really difficult. And Sir Kodiak. 1850 pros, 2180 Nurgle. This looks very pro elfy. I mean, when I think pro elves, I think like, well, half the team is going to have like blodge, tackle, sidestep, and that's true.
And there are only 2 tackle on the Nurgle. One of them is a decent sacker, and one of them is a super killer. But without piling on, so not super reliable, and only movement 5 as well. So going to have a bit of a problem.
The beast is actually really annoying here.
The ex-wife. Yeah, I mean that's the idea.
Block, stand firm, plus movement and break tackle actually is going to make him significantly annoying against the elves. What do the elves? The elves have a bench? No, they definitely don't, and they get some amount of inducements. 200. 250, yeah, they get almost 300, right? If not more than 300, which seems weird given that they're 1850, but this is a big Nurgle team. Normally I wouldn't hate the Nurgle here, but that's a lot of skills and a lot of inducements for the elves.
There's a couple of niggles kicking around that it's going to make things a little spicy, but I think the pro elves are favored.
I would probably agree with you. What is the? I'll take the Nurgle though. Sure, let's have we have to get our points switched around early, right? Okay, and those are our predictions. Technically, we can look at the leaderboards, but they're fairly uninteresting given there's 1 week. There you go. There are leaderboards. Some people have 3 points, some people have none, some people have 1. Excellent. Lastly, I will look at the scoreboard for our predictions. So feel free to dim your monitors, close your eyes. I don't know. It's going to be very bright. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I'm playing my REL game in like an hour. And my opponent was like, "Oh, you're the Skaven at the top of the div." I'm like, "It's week 2." Like, I won in week 1. Yes.
Yeah, it's week 2. People who start at the top of the div can finish bottom of the div if they don't win another game. They have 1 game in right now. Barbecue Gamer and BME are currently ahead with 2 points in the REL 1 prediction. BME is ahead with 3 points in REL 2, which puts BME in first overall with 5. One of 2 people with positive points so far. I'm at 0 and you are at -4 to start the week, but given how swingy this system is, that's very easily changed. So that's what the tipping looks like. Feel free to continue to participate or not. Totally up to you. It's totally meaningless. It's just a bit of fun. I'll bring up the title screen. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the week 2 recap. We will be back next week and every week after that on Wednesday, going back to the
Wednesday,
normal time.
probably a bit late, like a fair bit later than this. We usually start around like 6:37 Eastern, as opposed to we've been starting at like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern. So
yeah, it's just how we had to do things for the first couple of weeks to get our schedules in order to do things more regularly. But expect like 7 Eastern probably ish, plus or minus half an hour every Wednesday for the rest of the weeks this season. So I hope you'd enjoy that, and I hope you'll enjoy the rest of them. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, I'm in Steakmittens.
And I'm sure.
And we will see you then.